All right, guys, welcome to the next episode of Everything Counts podcast. This is where discipline, mindset, and action collide. Here we cut through the excuses and expose the habits that hold men back. We share the tools that build strong fathers, leaders, and men who refuse to settle. Because in life, business, health, and fatherhood, everything counts. Every choice, every habit, every action, every day. And I'm proud to introduce our next guest, Mr. Jason Ballo. So, Jason's journey started early. At just 16 years old, he earned his certificate of registration and spent his Saturdays showing properties across Sydney's inner west. After years in the real estate scene, he made the bold move to step out and build his own buyer's agency. Then, in February 2024, he posted his first video with the now famous line,
"This is what $2 million buys you in Sydney."
It hit 350,000 views, and that moment shifted everything. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
So tell me, I wanted to touch on straight away. I was listening to a podcast you're on not that long ago, and they said you're an overnight success. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I could be, but it took me 20 years to get here, you know. I ate shit for the last 20 years. I'm sure it's something that we can talk about, or you're probably going to want to talk about. My journey started young, man, like young. Like I've been in real estate, looking at houses, being around it from like 8 years old because of my dad. So when I was, naturally my parents bought that business in 2000, 2001.
What business? What business?
It was a management rights business. So they bought it from Harry Triggerboff, and they, when he was selling them, he doesn't sell them anymore. He's actually buying them back. So they got into that business, and then they were renting out properties. Naturally, I wanted to be involved in that. Got my certificate of 16. So really from 16, I'm 38 now. So, and like, when did it pop off? Last year for me. So, and I ate shit literally from 18 to like that point, like exactly that point.
What do you mean? Like, what do you...
Like I came out the gate, like left school, tried to kind of get involved in the family business. I was kind of Mr. Know-it-all at that age, at 18, because at 18, you know everything in fucking life, And so, it was a bit like that. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I should just peel off, do my own thing. Kind of went to uni, failed every subject, was at the bar getting pissed with the boys, that was my uni. Great times, don't regret it, but it was, it was a waste of fucking time, if you look at it like that.
Character building, though.
Definitely character building. Yeah. Went to Dubai in 2001, set up a real estate and facility management business there. That was 2007 to about 2009. I lost a lot of money, ate shit there, GFC, just didn't know how to hold myself, came back. Thought, fuck it, I'm getting out of real estate. I'm sick of real estate, even though it was my love, my one true love. I started an online furniture business called Ballo Furniture, ahead of its time. It was an online furniture business. We had some good growth early on, some good sales. I was nominated top 30 entrepreneurs under 30 by Anthill publication, I think it was at the time. Yeah, I was building a bit of steam, but I didn't factor in the cost of the containers. I didn't love that business. My furniture would come and it was like torn, and like I refunded the money to people. Like I wasn't one of those like trying to like scam people out of money. So I was in the hole real quick. Like I was in the hole maybe 80 grand at the time. My dad said, you should just do a deal with all your creditors and got this house for you to sell. This guy's come in, you can sell it, take the comms, start again. It's exactly what I did. So I did deals with all those creditors, sold that house, started my journey back in real estate. I was working with the family for a bit, and then I started my own business. It was a franchise. I opened up in Surrey Hills with my business partner. He left after 6 weeks because him and his fiance broke up. It was the three of us starting in that business. So I took over, and for 3 years, I made no money. I was just barely getting by, working 7 days a week. My mum was helping me out, like keeping my files in order. So that was a real, like 3 years of just like fucking waking up and knowing that you're just fucking behind all the time. So like, and then I thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm not great at what I do. I want to just focus in on one thing, and that's just selling houses. which was really not my passion. I loved real estate. Selling houses was just a kind of byproduct or a way of competing. And, you know, I've always been a competitive kind of athlete in that sense. And so, or had that competitive mindset, I guess you can say. I then got out of that business, got out of the lease, slightly unscathed, sold the rent roll, whatever was left of it. I helped my parents start their new journey into a business in Victoria. So I did a year with them specifically, which was great. And then came back. I said, okay, I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to be an associate, work for a sales agent, a top agent. He's going to teach me the ropes. And that's what I did. Started all over again. And then I kind of just went on that journey. I was getting, you know, served notice while I was at that fucking office because I owed money to the franchisor at the time, you know, and it was just like, you know, thinking about bankruptcy, thinking about all these things is like, you know, it was a really tough run, you know, and I was like, and you know, the thing is I kept going, I kept working. I had the best coaches, best mentors, showed up to work, wake up in the morning, 4 a.m., go to the gym, train, work 6 days a week, stay late. So I did all the things. You know, showing the house from start to finish is kind of what was always my things, working with buyers. And then when I found out I was having twins, I got served a notice. And so I was left with like, you know, like $450 a week, $500 a week, right? My wife was like 6 months pregnant, you know. I was about to get married. We found out we were having twins, so we thought, well, let's just get married in like next month. So that was kind of, we put forward that. So, you know, it was like, that kind of was at the final bit of that fucking long run, you know? And then it was like, that first video I posted.
How many videos have you done prior to that one taking off?
I've done I've done hundreds of videos. No one ever, one of my mates who's a builder sent me a video 10, 12 years ago of a house that he did in Ashbury for a mate of ours. Exactly as you see it. But me wearing my suit, I was a lot skinnier then. Me wearing a suit, talking about the finishes of their house. And that's kind of where all my passion always been, about the product. It never kicked off. Maybe that my hook or whatever the case may be, maybe my timing wasn't then. Maybe my journey had to wait a little bit longer. That first video, 350,000 views, it felt like overnight, but it's not overnight. You know, it's like, it took me 22 years to get there. So it's not actually overnight. I worked on my craft the entire time. It's not like I was really good at it. Like, I became really, really proficient at what I did. And I took a lot of pride in that. And so everyone's like, oh, wow, it's so simple. It's such an easy idea. It's like, yes, but I've been working at it for 20 years. I can do it blindfolded. You know, I can show a house blindfolded like a good barber could probably cut hair blindfolded. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I would say to that.
So back to when you were working 6 days a week, you were going to the gym, you're ticking all the boxes. Why weren't you going well then? What was going on?
You know, I never had in my mind that what I was doing was where I was going to be. I always thought about a different kind of thing in the back of my mind. I just wasn't fully congruent with the direction of being a real estate agent until I'm 50, 60, 70 years old. I never saw that for myself. That was not my path. I took that path because I wanted to be in the game. It was competitive. You compete against other agents. You're going up against for business. You're pitching for business all the time. You know, there's a whole ranking system, you know, best agents, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So that kind of thing allured me into it a little bit. That was kind of where it was. But I just never, the thing is, I was always, I'll tell you something, I was dollar fucking accurate when it came to pricing. Dollar fucking accurate. Like, I would tell somebody, Jamie, your house is worth 5.23 million, give or take, or 5.2, between 5.2 and 5.25. I'll put you probably somewhere in there. And it would, and they would say, oh yeah, and you know, vendors are like, well, no, we want more. Okay, great. So that's kind of where I was losing. I lost millions of dollars because I was so honest and accurate about price. The game of real estate, what I learned and what I didn't like about it is like, well, you kind of got to say, well, yeah, we could probably get you 6 million. And then you start conditioning them back. And I fucking hated that. Like, that's not me. That's not Jason Ballo. You know what I'm saying? So like, and it's part of the game. And some guys do it really well and they do a lot better job than what I ever did. I don't want to like diss any agents or anything like that, because there are some really fucking good operators that know how to navigate that space better than I could. I don't think I could figure that part out. I was very just like, Jamie, how's with this? Like, that's it. That's the price.
So would you say that your personality didn't suit being an agent?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say that.
And what about all the hard work leading to nothing? How hard was that to sort of look back on that? And now that you're working hard now going, well, hard work doesn't work.
It does work
Yeah.
though. Hard work does work.
Yeah.
It always works.
Yeah.
I tell you something, you go to the gym, and the gym's kept my mental health in check over the last 25 years, right? So you go to the gym, some days you go into the gym and you're just not quite there, but you go in, you get a bit of a pump, you do a bit of a lighter session, maybe it's a deload week, whatever, you kind of go through this period. Some days you feel really strong, you lift real heavy. Some days you get gains. There are some periods you just got to ride those waves. Yeah. And the same thing with business. Like, I knew what I was doing. I kind of wanted to be there, and it wasn't going to hurt me learning that information or being good and going to auctions, attending auctions, going to open homes. I'd go to 25, 30 of these every week. Agents listings, auctions. I'd attend auctions, like all of that, find out prices, give people updates, so like that was always, understanding the market, how it moved was always interesting to me. That work I always did, and I never thought I was wasting my time doing that,
So do you think that when your TikTok and Instagram took off, people fell in love with your personality, which you weren't allowed to really show as a real estate agent?
Yeah, that's probably a good point. I never thought of it like that, but I think maybe, yeah. I said to myself when I was editing those first few videos, I got stuck on an edit and I was writing the copy. I was like, it's like trying to describe like, an entryway or how I transition from one room to the other. And I caught myself doing the same sort of real estate-y thing. And I was like, you know what, Jace, fuck this. If you can't fucking just be yourself and say shit that you want to say, what's the fucking point? Yeah. And then I just kind of went, and then I went, Alrighty Legends, this and that's when Alrighty Legends came in, because you see the first review didn't say that. And then you say Alrighty Legends, and then you see that transition, and then you start hearing me say sexy and peep this and check this out, have a look at this. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, and that's what people fall in love with. And then, trust starts to form with the audience. People trust me because I'm telling things how it is. Now, a lot of people might not agree with certain houses and the way the pricing's at, and that's fine. It's very subjective, but I see a lot of beauty in real estate. I see beauty. I don't see what other people see. Like, people look at it from a judgmental lens. I don't see judgment. I see someone's home or a builder that's created this project, that he's put his blood, sweat, and tears into. That's what I see. I don't see the fuck, why would you pay that for that? Like, I don't, because I know all the numbers in every side, like, you know what I mean? So I don't see the judgment side, but yeah.
Back to the personality, like, you obviously just did my house. That's why we know each other.
Yeah.
And it was probably a 30-minute, 45-minute job, right? And we spoke for about like an hour, right? So obviously your personality is infectious.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to your right-hand man, what's his
Luca?
name? Luca
Marciano. Shout out to Luca.
He's a legend, really
He's a
good
fucking
guy.
legend,
He's the guy holding the camera.
Love that boy.
Big young guy.
Shout out to Luca.
And he just loves you to death. He's inspired by what you're doing. And when you left that day, I'm like, I'm going to be friends with this bloke. I'm going to stay in touch with this guy, right?
I felt the same about you, man. I was like, this guy's a G,
And not only that, as I was shocked, you shred, like, fully diced.
Yeah.
You rarely see an agent. Obviously, you see agents in suits and that, but seeing how in good nick you are, it's obviously testament to, or real estate agents should be looking up to you going, hang on a minute, this guy's getting some attention with the way he looks. Let's start upping our ante, right?
The most important thing in life is having your physique in check, especially if you're a male.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I always looked at it like it's a fucking waste. It's shameful if you're a man and you don't put your body to the limit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think, what the fuck for? Like, we're born with this body. We're males. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're born to push that limit. Our ancestors, chased, rhinoceroses and shit. You know what I mean? Like, we hunted, and that's just how I look at it, like that. And, keeping fit is a great lesson in life. because what you learn is the delayed gratification, because you're not going to get your gain tomorrow, but you progress 6, 8, 12 weeks. You're trying to increase the size of your delts, your traps, your buys, whatever it may be, your calves. You'll see that progression at that period. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're eating, you're getting your calories. It's all very much a science. So it teaches you that. You learn very quickly. And if you don't do the work, your gains will start to diminish. Maybe not so much more for guys our age, because, the muscle memory is real. You learn that. It's easier to maintain your physique now at this level. So thank God I started training young. But it does teach you that. So that's where people should focus most of their time. Because at the end of the day, you can make money, but then you're not fit. It's like, would you trade it up? And the answer is going to be yes all the time. You know what I'm saying? So why not just be fit? You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I look at it. Like, it's rare that you see a really wealthy guy that ticks every box, right?
100%.
Relationship, kids, friendships, health, wife, business. Like, it's rare, right? But why not? Like, why do you have to be rich and overweight? Why can't you be rich and healthy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I look at it. And I say to my kids, I'm like, your body is a walking billboard for what's going on in your mind.
Totally.
So if you're walking around overweight, people looking at, well, he's prepared to cut corners, right? Whereas if you're walking around diced like you are, he's disciplined. And I can see that. I don't even know what you do behind the scenes, right? But clearly you follow a program, you're consistent, and your twins will be proud of you as they grow up. And I'm sure your wife's incredibly proud of the way you look, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. My son, even just this morning, he likes to take his shirt off because I never wear a shirt in the house. You know what I mean? It's just like, and he'll cry, and he'll take his shirt off like this. He's taking it off because he's already looking up to me like that.
Yeah.
You know?
How old are the twins?
They're 21 months.
I remember you saying when you had your twins, you worried about how you were going to be able to afford formula.
Yeah, legit. I was just telling you that story. Yeah.
21 months ago, right? Or
21 months ago. Yeah, so 2 years, call it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago today, what are we, November, right? And 2 years ago today, I was shitting myself about how I was going to pay for formula.
Yeah.
Not even worried. I was shitting myself.
So fast forward to now, how many videos are you pumping out a week?
20, 25.
Right. And I noticed you're doing some brand deals as well. What's the story with that?
Yeah, so the brand deals are coming in sort of thick and fast now. I started with one and then it just snowballs. I've done a few gyms now. The gym space, I got hit up to do that. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go, because it's my space. Yeah. And property and a gym, it's like a combined thing, right? So started venturing out that way. And then I got hit up by NAB.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
So NAB wanted to do a collab.
Which obviously aligns with real estate, yeah?
Yeah, it was kind of big brand lining up there. And I thought, you know what? I mean, it was a challenge process because it was the first video of its kind that they wanted to roll out with creators. And, they've obviously come to me because I am the kind of only real estate guy in terms of in the creating space. There's no one really else out there that has their direct audience. So that kind of worked out really well. And they were really happy with the outcome. And now it's just, every day I'm getting hit up by different brands, but I'm very selective. I say no 92% of the time.
I was going to ask you that. You got to be careful. People obviously want to leverage your TikTok and Instagram following and your personality, right? So when it starts to delve out of real estate, are you going, nah, I want to stay in my lane?
Not necessarily. The real estate videos are always my main thing. That's my love. And so I'm always going to do that. But with the brand deals, it's I guess showing another flavor of what I can do and showing another side of my personality and, just having something that breaks up a little bit of that content as well. It's like an ad break, you know what I mean? So, but our team, we're very selective about who's coming on, how many posts compared to the real estate posts. So it's only a couple, we only have room for maybe 2 or 3 a week. We're not doing more than that. I just did a kitchen showroom that I posted last night. Amazali, shout out to Jamal. He's got the sexiest kitchen showroom in Australia by far, or at least in Sydney, from what I've seen. So that was a no-brainer for me because I love that shit. We're talking about finished products. He's got all the stone, the style of his showroom. That video is blown up overnight. I only posted it 5 or 6. I mean, I posted it last night. So I think we're already at 40,000 views. And, you know, he's already getting traction, people wanting to go see his showroom. So it kind of just works hand in hand like that. And then I did a Papa Macros. Shout out to Marco. So Papa Macros hit me up, and I was a customer of Papa Macros.
What's Papa Macros?
It's a meal prep company.
Right.
So
I saw that one.
I've been on meal prep for a long time because of my time poor. I used to cook a lot of meals, a lot of you know, low calorie, high voluminous foods, delicious foods like chicken schnitzel and pizza, you know, high protein pizza, like all the like healthies, because I like to eat stuff like that. But I like always was, and I'm a good cook and I love to cook. And so I used to make these recipes at home, and I was known, going back to my real estate days, people would see me with my 2 wraps, you know, my breakfast wrap and my chicken wrap, and it was like, you know, 120 grams of protein in that. It was like, you know, because everything was like ordered, right? It got to a point where I didn't have that time to do that anymore, and then I saw Papa Macros doing a collab with a guy called Aussie Fitness, who's a legend. I used to watch his Instagram videos, learn his recipes, and then because he'd have the order of it, the calorie breakdown, protein breakdown. So I used to make it like exactly how we did it. They did a collab, and I saw that, and I thought, for this is beautiful. So I started on Papa Macros at the start of the year, just because I can go warm up. The meals are delicious. You know, 3 minutes in the microwave, boom, I'm eating. So he hit me up, and it was a no-brainer because I'm already a customer. He's like, man, I love what you're doing. And so that was an easy link up. So stuff like that I'm always open to, you know?
So what about I've noticed there's a lot of people out there copying what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not only for a laugh, but obviously to compete against you, right?
Sure.
That must be a huge compliment, right? To see that people are doing something. So I saw a guy in Perth the other day doing the exact same thing. And he actually said, I'm actually copying Jason Ballo.
Yeah, I DM'd him. He's a good dude. Yeah.
So what about the guys that are trying to do what you're doing, but with their own twist? What would you say to them? Is that a good feeling still, or you just go stay in your lane, mate? Or?
Yeah, no. Like, there's no like. Yeah, it's funny. The boys sent me that one last night. They're like, "Fuck, these guys are coming out like weeds now." You know what I mean? No, look, it's all love. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like maybe I sort of paved that way a little bit. I opened that door. It's a difficult space to break into. You can't just walk into an owner's house and start talking about stuff if you don't know what you're talking about. I think the way I broke through as well, I don't think someone else would be able to do again in that sense.
What do you mean the way you broke through?
Well, I did it. So I was going to opens. I would line up 6 opens, and I would be the first one in there, and I would go with my camera, and I would do the intro, like I would do the walkthrough from start to finish, so that there was no other buyers there, so I didn't capture anyone on camera. And then I would go, and then I wait for the opens to close, and then I would go do the front shot in each. And I wouldn't do it with a live audio. I would do everything recorded afterwards. And I would talk about the price, the way I saw it, or the guide, or whatever. And so I was always very accurate, like I said. So like,
but you were doing these for free then, weren't you?
Yeah, and without any permission.
So what was the moment where someone goes, I want to pay you for this?
Yeah, so I got a call from a lady who owned a house in like Hunters Hill. She was like, can you come to my house? I was like, yeah, $500. She's like, okay. I'm like, shit, I went too cheap, you know? Like,
well, and then to be honest, sorry to interrupt, but when you told me how much it cost, I thought it was cheap.
Oh, really?
I honestly did. Because so many people ask me, how much does this I'm not going to say what you charge on here, but
that's cool.
So many people ask me, what do you charge? And the number that they said was way higher, because by you exposing my house or somebody else's house to, you know, how many 100,000, like maybe 1 million followers, right?
Yeah.
1 million people watching,
People watching, yeah.
And there could be 5 buyers.
And then I get 5 million. I get 5 million visitors to my page every month as well.
Yeah, like it's crazy. It's cheap. So I think you should be more expensive for what the reach that you have. So another thing I was going to ask, like, about leverage, right? Because obviously your brand is all about you. Is there a point where you go, oh, how do I leverage this so other people are doing what I'm doing to make my business bigger and grow and scale?
So I've got a guy joining the team to run the buyer's agency business. So that starts in January. We're working through that at the moment, or getting him set up. Really good guy, man. I'm excited. He's a legend. you know.
So the buyer's agents
Yeah, so
restarted, are you saying?
well, the buyer's agency, like I've still been holding a few clients and doing a few deals. Given my time, I'm sort of slowly coming off that. I'm very selective with whoever will come on with me. You know, it really comes down to the relationship and if I do want to work with you. That's kind of where it's at. And so he's going to help me grow that business because that's a no-brainer for us. I get every day, someone, can you help me find the home? Can you help me find the home? Can you help me find the home? No, because I just don't have the time. So he's going to help fill that gap. And then I also have a website that I'm building. It's actually a listing platform. So guys like yourself, you'll be able to go put your property on this website free of charge. The buyers will be paying the sort of membership price to gain access to these exclusive kind of off-market deals. So we're in the process of finalizing that. I kind of just spilt the guts on that one, man. Fuck, like, you know, I've been holding that one in for a while. So yeah, I'm doing that. And then yeah, man, we're just rolling. So I'm actually buying a vehicle. I'm buying a vehicle for January, February. So me and Luca can roll and work on the go.
Right.
That's gonna take a
van or something like that.
Yeah. It's gonna be sick though. You're gonna see us coming from a mile away. You'll be able to see us.
What about the BM? You can't roll up in style anymore.
What's that?
What about the BM?
Yeah. You know what? It's become. That's the thing. Like, I'm gonna keep the BM. I fucking love that M3, man. It's my first. Like, I had a Mazda 3 for 13 years.
Right.
I traded up in July for the Beamer. You know, so I went from a Mazda 3 to an M3, which is funny. And then, no, I'll definitely keep that car. I'm not
because there's a perception, right, in real estate. You got to have a fancy car to show you success, right? So if the guy doing the TikTok's rocking up in a nicer car than a real estate agent, you might be reluctant to use you. So if you're rocking up in a van,
I'll turn up in a fucking Ferrari, man. I don't give a fuck. You know, like I'm just like that. You know, the thing is, I don't like. I've always loved cars, but I put that fucking thing away for a long time because I couldn't really think about cars when you're not making money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the trap. I was watching a video. I posted this on my TikTok yesterday about the road to mediocrity is having two fancy cars at the front of a $500,000 apartment.
Yes.
You know, like buy your cars when you can afford them, right?
Yeah.
Rather than lease them. Like one of my mates bought a Maserati not that long ago and the gearbox went on it. It was like 15 grand for a gearbox replacement. So if you've got that sort of car, you're not worrying about the repairs and the maintenance, right? So I think buy them when you can afford them, right? Rather than overstretch yourself and sacrifice a family holiday to have a fancy car.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, your family should always come first. Your comfort, your household should always be taken care of. That's always been my belief as well. Everything needs to be right at home. You know, that's kind of why, you know, like the last sort of 2 years, it's just been getting, you know, we moved property, we moved to a bigger house, you know, everything's taken care of, you know, daycare, nanny, this, that, like whatever wife needs, like everything's been taken care of at home. Yeah. So that was always a priority, family car, you know, kids, whatever. And then kind of, you know, later down the track, it was like, well, you know, it's kind of my time now, you know, it's time to step into something, you know.
So what back to your wife, like how important was her support through this process when you were doing it tough to, I know you mentioned a nanny now you can help support her with a nanny. So she must have been a huge influence on your career when you were actually doing it tough.
Yeah. So, you know, the thing is, you know, going back to what you said about, you know, the success in life for particularly a male, you know, you look at your physique, your business life, your family life. These are the three pillars that I always looked at and thought, okay, I want to conquer all these three things. Physique check, right? Like that was easy. Business, it was like, and now I can kind of say, yeah, it's kind of getting there. And then family life, right? And so having a wife that, you know, helps you become the man you want to become, not makes you into a certain, but, you know, you have your ways of wanting to do things. You know, she definitely helped me steer in that direction. You know, I became more of a man in that sense. You know, she kind of led the charge of family life and all of that. So without her, I wouldn't have the things that I have with my family. So very important, you know, she was, 6 months pregnant, crying when I told her I want to stop selling houses. She didn't know the real reason because I didn't want to stress her out. But
How important do you think that is? Like managing what you actually share with your wife at home so they don't freak out.
you can't lie to your wife, but you can't, if your wife's 6 months pregnant, there's some shit you just can't say at that moment in time, because you can't stress those girls out when they're pregnant like that,
Yeah, but I don't think women want their husband to come home bitching and moaning about what they're doing either.
I ain't a bitch or a moaner, man.
And my wife says to me all the time, like I don't whinge about anything at home, right?
Yeah.
But I'll be on the phone to my mates out on the balcony having to bitch to my mates about, this wrong, because a guy gets it, right? And I'd rather vent it to a mate rather than my wife.
Yeah, 100%.
I get it off my chest, then I come home, I'm like, I'm fresh.
Yeah.
Rather than having all these problems that she doesn't care about my day.
Totally.
She might say she cares about my day, but deep down, she wants me to come home and go, I love my life, right? So is that something you do with your friends? Like you sort of vent to them?
Yeah, I got my homies like that. But to be honest, I just get on with it. I see my parents sort of just, they're entrepreneurs. They went through it. They just, I see my dad do things, just get up the next day and work. I kind of just always took that approach.
Yeah.
It's like you just get up and work, and then you work through that's all right. And then you just work through your day, and you just take it day by day, and all you got to do is just keep working. I never, even though I was in those moments, my wife will be the first to tell you, I used to be like, oh, wait till I'm fucking here. I'm going to be rolling in millions. I always knew I was going to pop at some point. I was going to do something. I always had that belief in myself. That belief never diminished just because I wasn't getting the wins and the successes. I always knew I was going to head in a certain direction.
Is that because your upbringing, growing up with entrepreneurs though?
Yeah, because I can see also like sometimes it's not just overnight. And my parents were awesome like that. I got very lucky with awesome parents, right? It's a fucking winning ticket in life if you're born to good parents, straight up. And so then I'm doing this venture, this fails. Parents like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, what are you doing now? Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay, well, blah, blah, blah. Like very supportive, not like, oh, are you sure that's going to work? I never had any of that. My mum was always like, chase your dreams, you're passionate, yeah, blah, 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 go for it. Like cheerleading on the sidelines, always, never negative. So I always had that, so I was always like, yeah, I'm going to the moon. It's just how I get to the fucking moon. Just got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing, Jason. Not everyone's as fortunate as you to have amazing parents that support you, right?
100%.
However, you aren't your past, you are your decisions, right? So
Exactly.
even if you've had a tough upbringing, it's still no excuse. Like I did. Like I left home at 14, right?
No shit.
And there's no excuse to be a bad person because of them, right?
Yeah.
It can be motivation as well to go, you know what, I don't want to be that. I want to be this because of that. So obviously you're very fortunate, and obviously your kids as well.
Yeah.
And we always say to our kids, right, or maybe not at your kid's age, but at my kid's age, like you don't realize how good you got it, because they don't, because they've been fortunate enough to have parents around them that aren't drunk, aren't drug addicts. There's hot water, there's food in their fridge, and they work hard, right? And they love them. And the other day, my kids were whinging about iPads, right? And I'm forever saying to them, you don't realize I never grew up with any of that stuff, right? I grew up, cutting out transformers and paper and playing with the paper because I couldn't afford the toys, right? And I said to them when they were bitching about the iPads fighting, right, I said, get in the car. So we got in the car at like 7 o'clock and we drove to Claymore, because I grew up in Campbelltown, right? And we drove around the houses at Claymore just to remind them that the way we live is not normal. The way these people live is pretty bad, right? So
I've
you're
seen your house,
fortunate
the way you live ain't normal, man.
Well, I'm very fortunate, Like I've worked, like you said, you worked hard and take some calculated
man.
risks.
Yeah, you got a beautiful home, man.
And that's what I was saying to you before about how important hard work is. I think hard work alone isn't the key. Because you look at some guys that are brickies labourers, they're really hard workers, but they're not the most successful.
Yeah, true. That's true.
It's definitely an element, though. Definitely an element.
True. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think there's an element of also backing yourself. I could have gone in a direction. I was saying this to someone recently. It never even. Let me tell you a story, actually. I was in the city this time last year. It was around Christmas time this time last year. Things were going well for me now. Things were like, okay, cool. I'm rolling around. I was living in the city at the time. And so I remember I was just standing there. I was with my singlet and my shorts. I finished training, nice sunny day. I was going to go buy something. And I see these 3 individuals and they got these like lanyards like there. And they're like talking about some bullshit, like some corporate bullshit, whatever's going on. Like they're just, oh, no, just this, can you believe that? And blah, blah, blah. And it was one of those moments I was like, fuck, like I'm so glad I never wanted that life for me. You know what I'm saying? And I took a stand early on. Like I could have gone corporate when my things weren't being successful, when I wasn't making money, all my friends are doing stuff and spending money and making, 100, 200, 300 grand, 400 grand. Some of them were making more at the young age. I could have gone to like a fucking American Express or gone to these big fucking companies and been in sales, made 300-400 grand a year. But I was just like, that's not what I want to do. Like it was never even about that. So there is an element of going, okay, well, what is it that you want? And how much you prepared to eat shit to get there? And for me, I tell you now, my thing was always, I can eat, like, no one's going to eat more shit than me. Like no one can eat shit better than me. You know what I'm saying? It was like a competitive thing. Like I'm going to fucking take it. Like I'm going to go fucking hard. I'm just going to eat it. And I took pride in eating it. It was like, it was just one of those things, like I could absorb it really, and it just became easier and easier and easier. You kind of get to a period where you don't want to get used to it, but like you just got to keep fighting. So that is very difficult. So you talk about bricklayers, yes, but they can make good money doing what they do, but then it's like you're capped.
Yeah.
So now at what point do you go, okay, well, is this everything that I want to do? Do I then transition into this? Do I then go buy bricks wholesale and sell bricks? And then do I make fucking brick content on Instagram? And like, you got to start to evolve yourself as well as an individual.
But it's risk. That's the other element.
It's risk.
Willing to take the risk
Totally.
of going, you know what, I don't want to be a brickies labourer.
Totally.
I want to invest in a business and sell bricks. And having the support like your family behind you would have given you the confidence to go, you know what, let's have a crack. Let's do something different. But don't you just love the stories where someone's come from, 20 years of not so successful career to all of a sudden pops? Like I love those stories, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that happened is the reason why we're here talking about it right now.
Totally.
Because if you were successful from 20, you haven't really experienced a lot of the grit that goes into being successful.
It's fucking funny you say that. I was literally thinking about this on the drive home last night. I was like, like 38, if you pop at 25, I was talking to another mate of mine, which is why I was in my mind. And, he said to me, he's a very successful guy, very successful in his, again, mid to late 30s. And he said to me, we sat down for lunch, first time we kind of linked up. He goes, man, if you make it in your 20s, it's potluck, God bless. You know what I'm saying? Like, great, good for you. The thing is, let's say you pop out 25 and then what? Then all your excitement is then, this is the best period, what I'm experiencing now. Like this journey, it's the most insane. I don't have the most amount of money, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't need the end result to make me feel like I'm enjoying this right now. You do it at 25 and then now you're 30, you're kind of like, well, what's next? Yeah. Or you kind of fade away into existence. Do you know how many guys I bump into, I see, because of what I'm doing now, and they used to be fit in their teens and 20s, and now they're not. They let themselves go. They're like, oh, fuck. And they used to be like, I used to look up to these guys. And now they're like, fuck, you're in shape. You're this, you're that. It's like, they kind of let themselves go. Like you don't want to be that guy that you sort of start to fade away in existence. You want to keep that excitement alive. So the more you eat shit, the later the longer you delay that gratification, you're going to enjoy it at some point. You're going to enjoy it. You're probably better off enjoying it when you're in your sort of later stage in your life where you're getting close to 40, because then you have this like bounce of excitement now. Yeah. Life is exciting now. Like you've been in shit. Now you're like, okay, I know what it's like not to have it. And then, now it's like enjoying the things that you kind of always wanted to do,
Well, nothing comes easy, right? And that's a good lesson to teach your kids as well, right? Like you ate shit for 20 years. Doesn't mean your kids need to, but there's always a portion where you do need to eat shit and do the hard yards, right? And I think it's a real contrast. Like if you've done 20 years of doing it tough, right, now all of a sudden in the last 2 years you've done really well, it makes you really appreciate where you are right now.
Totally.
And especially as you get older, right? As you get older, you get less mobile, right? So when you need to work as hard, you don't need to work as hard as you did when you were younger, because as you get older, this is creating an easier life for you.
Yeah.
So you can sort of taper off a bit. But back to what you're saying about the guys that are looking good when they're young, do you find that as guys get older, the gap between someone in good condition and bad condition grows? Like you get a school pickup, right, or kindy pickup or whatever, there's not too many males that are in their late 30s, 40s that look like they do anything.
The thing is about training and keeping in shape, it's a very fucking simple thing. Calorie deficit to burn fat, calorie surplus to increase muscle mass, more protein over, have protein synthesis occurs when you ingest protein. It doesn't store in your body like fats and carbs. So you need to consume it every couple of hours, which is why that every 3 hours thing is real. It's a very simple thing. And it's just the desire to want to keep going and knowing that if you... What's that mean?
Sorry.
That's all right. Nice throw.
My alarm was an alarm.
Nice for the nice... That was a fucking nice throw, man. You got it straight in there. So
calorie deficit, yeah.
Yeah, so what happens is people start to make excuses. Oh, my family. Oh, the kids. Motherfucker, you've got one child. I had two, and I stayed in shape the entire fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't give me that fucking excuse. Oh, my kid. Oh, come on, bro. You have one child?
Oh, no.
I'll do it with my fucking eyes closed, standing on my head. Me and my wife joke about this all the time. Like, when you're a twin parent, you're like, fuck, this is like... And you know what? She still goes to her Pilates. She's doing, she's getting her gains and she's getting back on her track with her physique. And it's like great to see. It's like, and it sort of takes time. But once you start to pull the brake on that, then it's like a slippery slope because it's hard to get back into shape. Once you're in shape, maintaining shape is a lot easier than going from here to try and get in shape. Yeah. Would you agree?
100%.
So why go through that? Why burn that energy off it? Why are you going to burn that energy again? Why do you have to go through that again? It's just dumb. It's a bad decision. People don't think of it like that. People also don't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to training, and they refuse to.
Well, that's the intimidating thing, is exactly that. They don't know what they're doing. And I was speaking to someone the other day at the gym. I'm like, if I walk into a new gym, it's intimidating for a grown man to walk into a new gym, right? Can you imagine a guy that's never trained or a woman walking into a gym where she knows nobody, doesn't know what to do? It is bloody intimidating.
It would be, yeah, totally.
So I kind of get it from that point of view, but if the excuse is no time, it is complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
There's enough time to do anything.
Totally.
Like with how available voice to text is, like if I say to you, I didn't have time to get back to you, I'm like, yeah, you fucking did.
Yeah, you did.
Just, hey, Jace, I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Totally.
Boom, send. It's so easy.
It is.
And there's no excuse. There is literally no excuse to do something. Just get off your ass and move, right? And like your kids are looking at you because that monkey see, monkey do, right? So your twins will eventually go, well, you know what? Let's get into training because that's the way dad lives. And eventually you want to hope that that's part of their life, right? It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, I've always been a non-excuse. I became a non-excuse guy, I probably would say. I'm a no-excuse guy.
Yeah.
I don't accept excuses from people. I don't accept excuses from myself. I don't like excuses. I just don't. Like, it just doesn't. It's like, yuck. It's like, it's
so what do you think when you hear someone say an excuse? Or use an excuse?
I'm just like, I just kind of give it no mind. Like, it's just like, okay, well, you kind of pick it apart though. You kind of go, well, okay, you're that kind of person, right?
Yeah.
It's like a shame. It's like you hear it, you're like, ugh, what a shame. You need to tighten up that gap. You know what I mean? Like, you really do. Because it's really like, what's the point of making an excuse? We all make our own bed.
Yeah.
We all get up, we all work, we all, train. You have the same 24 hours in the day. What you choose to do with that time is your prerogative, and it's going to be the biggest deterrent. If you get up, focus on your physique, focus on building your business, focus on being the best individual you can be, best father you can be, you work hard, wealth will come your way, health will come your way, all that kind of stuff comes your way. If you don't choose that life, it ain't going to come your way. It's just like, it's
It's like shit with no captain, right?
Yeah, and it's like it might take some people like me 20-something years. It might take you 5 years, you know? But you've got to just go through it.
Self-reflection. I know personally I'm a big self-reflector. Like I'll lay in bed at night and I'll look back on the day and go, fuck, I shouldn't have said that, or I probably should have done that. I should have made that call. I was scared of that. I'll self-reflect my day, right? And I say this to my kids. I'm like, it's really important to improve, to look back on your day and look where you can improve. So while you're sleeping, your subconscious can be potentially processing what happened in the day and maybe how to improve it. Do you do any of that?
I think self-reflection can be good. I've never been one to self-reflect. I don't know. It's never been in my mind. I think my version of that, I guess I don't really meditate, but my version of like, I'll listen to the same song like 30 times in a row and it just kind of it just keeps me in a trance because I'm on a thought. Like I've got a thought and my brain's always racing. I've always been a bad sleeper because my brain's always racing at night, thinking about the next day. So I've always been like, what's next? What's next? What's next? I think taking time to kind of slow down and reflect, I think would benefit anybody. And I think it's a really good move. It's not in me to do.
Yeah. Well, I want to shift gears a little bit here. There's a segment of this show that it's a physical challenge, right? And what the physical challenge is, it represents what the show's all about. Facing resistance head on and proving that every test counts, right?
I feel like something's coming up, Jamie. What the fuck's going on?
We used to do one or the other, right? The sniffing salts or the chili. So what we've decided to do now is we both do the sniffing salts and we both do the chili, right?
Fantastic.
Just
so
for a laugh.
I'm the first at it.
No, Jake did it last week.
Jake did it. Okay, okay.
And he was absolutely cooked.
Great,
So
thanks.
it's tough. So
great, I'm looking forward to it.
So
am I gonna like shit myself if I do this?
Nah, the chili's. I'm not a huge chili fan. There's your chili. Chili's.
So hang on. So what are we doing here? Sniffing salt and chili?
So we'll bite the chili, chew the chili.
Okay.
Just, for a laugh.
Just chew the chili as you do, or not?
Like we're chewing the fat. Then what we'll do? So with the sniffing salts, right? The sniffing salts are pretty brutal. Okay. Well, this is the old one. Okay. That's a new one. So this one, because it does fade.
Oh,
so if it's not effective, we'll crack the new one, right?
Okay, great.
So what we'll do is we'll bite the chili. We'll have a bite of the chili, have a bit of a chew.
Have a sniff.
Then we'll have a sniff, right?
Chew and a sniff. Let's do it.
Okay, just the instructions for the sniffing salts.
Okay.
You can't take the lid off because otherwise all the smell escapes. So you want to crack the lid a little bit and have a sniff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like having, All right, so chilies. Right. All right, you go first, Jace.
So like a whole fucking thing, right?
Whatever you want, whatever makes you feel comfortable.
That's going to be painful.
All right. Holy fuck. You feeling that? Holy fuck. Oh my God. Holy fuck.
Mind over matter, Jamie, Mind over matter,
Oh. All right. Well, because you did the chili first, hold the sniffing salts first. Dude. Oh my God. You don't even feel that. Do you feel it?
Oh yeah, I feel it.
No face, far out. Discipline. What about the focus? Ooh. So this can really hurt, right?
Yeah. Shit. Oh shit. This is the one I'm worried about. Fuck. Oh shit. The chili. Oh fuck, the chili's creeping now. Woo! All right.
How you feeling?
Do I shake it? What do I do?
Shake it and just crack it a little bit and have a sniff.
Oh shit.
It's brutal, eh? Oh my.
Oh shit. Holy shit. Oh fuck. Woo! Oh my God.
How it rocks you away.
I've never had a sniffing salt in my life. And for fucking good reason too. Fuck that shit. Shit.
A little story. Oh fuck, my mouth is on fire.
Oh fuck.
Little story about that, right? So when I first bought that, it came in from Amazon.
Oh fuck.
You all right? You want some water?
Fuck.
I might have some water.
Oh.
You all right?
It's still fucking stuck there too, I'm afraid to like.
No, there's like powder doesn't actually go up your nose. It's just the aroma.
I'm coming to your house to do that cold plunge after this, man. Fucking hell.
Oh,
Woo!
yeah. So when I first bought that bottle, right, it arrived in the mail.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, I cracked the lid, pulled the cotton wool out, had a sniff. No smell. Anyway, I put the lid back on. In the instructions, it says there's a little spoon inside. You're sweating. There's a little spoon inside the container. You got to fill it up with water, tip it in, and shake it to activate the sniffing salts, right?
Yeah. You're talking, but like I'm just. Yeah.
Anyway, so I tipped the water in, I shook it. And I'm like, oh, no worries. I had the equivalent sniff as what I first did. And, mate, I was on all fours out the front thinking I'd burn a hole in my lung.
Fuck.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
This
Holy shit.
Far out. So what are you thinking right now?
How do you fucking lift weight after that? That's the point of it, right?
Yeah. Well, someone asked me the other day,
Who's gonna deadlift 200 kilos after that? I want to go home and lie down. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Lift weight. Are you joking?
It's brutal, eh?
Powerlifters use this shit,
Yeah.
don't they? Fuck me.
Because last week, this was still in the mail, right?
Oh, fuck, it still creeps.
Really?
Oh.
Need to blow your nose?
Yeah, I think I do, actually.
Can we get a tissue, please?
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need a fucking pause on this for a second.
It's all good. It's all part of the fun. You all right, Bart?
Yeah,
You
I'm
regret
fine.
doing
Yeah,
it?
I'm good.
There's just that cloth, just that orange cloth you can play. That's brand new.
It's good TV, you know?
Just going to take 5 here. We're just, our
Yeah.
guest is just freshening up.
Suffering. That's what I'm doing.
So do you regret doing that or are you glad you did it? It's a good experience, right?
No, it's a great experience. It's a great experience.
Is your mouth burning from the chili still?
Chili, honestly, chili's fine. I'm good with chili. I could have probably gone a couple of notches higher. That fucking sniffing salt, man. That fucking sucks shit. Straight up. That sucks shit. It sucks shit. Don't fucking do it if you come on this show. Don't fucking watch the sniffing salts, you know?
Oh, well, it's a reaction thing, right? And it's good for a laugh.
Yeah.
But it does hurt. But why you would ever do that? And like I said, when that was
Why
in
you
the
would
mo-
ever do that, and why do you choose to do it every week?
Well,
And
it's not like you get better at it. It
That's what
does.
I'm
It hurts
saying.
every time. I know it's coming now, so
You
it's
know
not
it's
as
coming,
bad, but it
yeah.
fucking hurts. But
Oh shit.
the week that we didn't have the sniffing salts, I went to a nutrition warehouse at Kiraway. I said, mate, you got sniffing salts. I need something for the show. And he goes, yeah, we got sniffing salts down the back there. I went down, it was like strawberry flavor. I'm like, fucking strawberry flavor. Had it. It was like sniffing a fucking lolly, right? So we got the real thing, right? That's why it's called
fuck.
insanity.
Is that the Jujumufu one? No.
That's the what?
Is that the Jujumufu one?
What?
You know Jujumufu?
No, what is it?
Jujumufu is that guy on Instagram. He does all the backflips and stuff. He's got sniffing salts.
Right.
They're pretty high potent. I think they're the
Right.
strongest in the game.
Would you say, from listening, it sounds like you've been disciplined from the get-go.
Yeah.
Did you become disciplined?
Yeah.
Or you did. So you didn't grow up disciplined?
Well, I mean, I played soccer when I was young. I'd go to training and I was always on time. I was always doing, like, I always wanted to be early, stay late, work hard. I was always working as a kid. I wasn't always disciplined. No, I made some, obviously, choices in my life that were very undisciplined, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you know, to become a professional, which is how I always wanted to do it. Like I always was like, okay, the avatar, this guy that I want to create, this Jason Ballo character in this world, I want him to be a fucking consummate professional. I want him to be fit. You know, like I just thought of myself like that. And so I just kind of structured my days so that I could get out everything that I needed to and not have any excuses. So I get up at 4 a.m. and train. I get up to piss every single night. I got a fucking bladder like a 9-year-old lady, right? You know, it's like that. And so I would get up at 2 a.m., 2:30, and because I told you my brain races, there are some nights I can't go back to sleep. I would go to the gym or start my day.
Right.
yeah, I would fucking start to conk out early, but I was just like that. And I would just get up and go. Like, doesn't matter, dead of winter, heat of summer, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I love to train. So for me, that was kind of always like, and then just that morning period where no one would fucking, call you or whatever, anything like that. But my parents were like that. My parents get up early. I remember I was like 23 or something, maybe 23, 24. I was getting up at 7 a.m. And then I remember one morning for some reason, it just got to me. I woke up, my room was downstairs, get up, living room. My parents had like their coffee there. They're like, you could see they were out. Like they were out, had already started their day. And these sniffing salts are fucking, they're just lingering around. They'd be out and I'm like, you know what, these people are kicking my ass and like they're already kicking my ass. I've only just woken up and like I'm about to jump in the shower. What the fuck am I doing? Like, and so I had that to look up to as well. So that's what I'm saying. I got really lucky. So then I was like, oh, fuck you. You're going to wake up at 5? I'm going to wake up at 4. You're going to wake up at 4:30. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. So I would get up, boom, and then I'd be the first one up. It's definitely something, it's one of the tenets that I live by, commitment, sacrifice, hard work, discipline. I always live by these 4 sort of tenets that I've always had in my mind that I've just stuck to. So in discipline, you've just got to practice discipline. It's like working your bicep. You got to practice discipline. You've got to choose in that moment when you are making that decision. As you said before, it's about the decisions we make, right? So that decision, so what are the decisions we make? Well, it's what decisions do we make? Okay, do we, I go into servos all the time because I'm driving around so much and whatever. And I see that, and I fucking love chocolate. You know what I mean? I'm fucking, it doesn't look it, but I love chocolate, right? And so I'll look at the fucking Snickers and the Twix and I'll just look at it. And the lady's like, is there anything else? And I'm like, she's like staring at me and I'm just waiting there. And there's like a line of people. And I'm like, no. But I'm like imagining eating it and then I'll fucking walk out. Like
but it's almost like you're training yourself as well to go no.
Yeah.
Because there's temptation everywhere, right?
Sometimes I cave in, but don't get me wrong. But it's not like I know I need to make that decision less frequently than I.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I mean? You got to live, and eating nice food is living. It's just anything in excess, right? Like
Totally,
if you want a chocolate every now and again, fucking have a chocolate, but make up for it with a good meal after it. 100%. Would you agree with that?
100. It's better when you're having good meals and then you have a chocolate.
Yeah.
Like it's just better. You feel better. You're less bloated. You're not carrying that sort of sodium around. You're not sort of feeling a bit like that as well. Feeling is important. How you feel throughout the day, your energy, is really important because you need to be up and vibrant and, you need to have that. You don't want to be one of those like mopey kind of people that sort of, and this all comes down to diet as well.
Hey, I want to pull on that character thread a little bit, right? And I haven't really considered this for a long time, right? Like how important do you think it is for men to create a character in their mind of who they want to be?
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Because I would say a lot, well, not anyone that I know is doing that, right? And I do it a little bit. You hear a lot of success, like Schwarzenegger did that, right? Had all the pictures and visualize, right? So how important do you think it is for someone that's struggling, looking to sort of take that step into fitness, business, TikTok, Instagram? How important is it for them to create a character in their mind?
It's everything. For me, it's everything. You've got to, the person that you're going to be, like I'm 38 now and I think about, okay, well, when I'm 48, what kind of individual do I want to be? Am I still, for me, I look at Sylvester Stallone is one of my idols, Schwarzenegger as well. But, I want to be like Sylvester Stallone when I'm 90 years old too, 79 years old. He's 79 and he's still fucking jacked, still looks great. That's how I want to be. I want to be there. He's still making content. He's making his films. I still want to be doing that as well. Like I want to be going all those. That's how I think about it. And that kind of keeps me going on that path. The minute you start to go, oh, it ends here, then it just kind of like ends. And it's fine if you want to go off and play golf and not do much and maybe you've made your money. But I think for those that are struggling, having a vision of who you want to become is always going to be relevant no matter what age you are. You could be 35, 45, and you want to reinvent yourself, very easily done. You see guys that are 60, they go from certain weight to like in 65, they're on stage.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fucking crazy.
It's never too late, right?
It's never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late. And so you just gotta keep progressing, because at the end of the day, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you just gonna what? Not do that thing? I actually don't understand.
Yeah, I
why.
don't get it either. I'm like, and I honestly think, like, you hear a lot of guys saying, I want to be happy. What the fuck does that mean, right? You don't want to be happy all the time to start with, I don't think, because then you don't understand the highs and lows of when you are actually happy and when you're not, right? But
I think that comes down to, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? Like, I think a lot of people look at others and go, that's
yeah,
definition of happiness. I will take a little bit of that,
yeah.
but I don't have that, so I'm going to be unhappy. And that guy's doing, but he's got over there. And Jamie, oh, look at his house, Jamie. I don't have that house. I'm over here, but so I'm not going to be happy. And then, oh, but look at Jason's physique, but I don't really have that, so I'm not going to be happy. Comparison is the thief of joy. You know what I'm saying? Your journey is the most exciting period in your life. If you're at your lowest point, you know, rising like a fucking phoenix out of the ashes like I did, you know what I'm saying, was the greatest feeling in the fucking world. You know, like it's not just, it's always been there. I've always been like, I fucking wait till the fucking world sees. You know, it's always been like, I've always had that in my mind. You just got to have that. You just got to like, and that journey of you pounding the pavement when no one's looking is everything. All the work is where all that takes place. That's the most important. All the work, all the hard work when no one's watching, the dieting, working hard, going to work early, finishing late, being on time constantly, you know, being a professional, you know, all the things that you need to do, and making the choices to be that individual and not just going, well, fuck it, and caving into something else. It's all of that.
Well, that's why the gym's so good, right? Because it's delayed gratification.
Totally.
And in the gym, you can always do one extra. You know what I mean? Like you go, all right.
100%.
And I say to my kids all the time, and Muhammad Ali says this. The interviewer said to him, how many do you do? He goes, I don't know. Because they only start counting when they start working.
Once that's hurting, yeah. Once it starts hurting, yeah.
That just, Michael, you know, when someone's doing like a bench press or whatever, that they suddenly stop to rest. I'm like, fuck that. That's what you want. Push it up while it's hard, right?
I started with I linked up with my trainer again. I've had the same trainer for 10 years. Her name's Jess Murphy, IFBB Pro. She won, you know, wellness category 2 years in a row here, New South Wales. She's a fucking machine. Have a look at her. Check her out on Insta. My training was kind of in that spot where I was like, I had a bad shoulder for 2.5 years, bursitis, whatever, about 2 bad shoulders from overtraining, obviously. And so I was limited into what movements I could do. I found the movements that worked for me, and I would just compound them, progressively overload with weight. I would just slightly change variations, but I would just keep it simple. And then it got to a point where my training just became monotonous again. And I was like, nah, I need to call Jess. My life kind of has a bit of thing now where I can kind of link back up with her. You know, the money's coming, I can afford to do that, all of that sort of stuff again. So I went back there, and my training's gone to another level now. And it's like, you got to keep that thing always going. You know, you always need to kind of keep pressing, because you're going to get that no matter what. And you just got to be humble enough to go, there's someone else that can help me do that. You know what I mean? And she's a female. She's the only trainer I'll ever train with, because her, you know, the way she looks at mind to muscle is better than anyone that I've ever trained with in my life. Yeah. You know, like the way she thinks, the neuro, the mind to muscle when we're working out. So to go back to your point, I would do a workout, and she'd be like, no, change your grip slightly like this, or just, you know, slightly. And it just makes the world of fucking difference. Really? And then it comes down to like, ooh, she's like, maybe we need to go down in weight because your form's starting to, you know what I mean? And it's like, and it's just that. It's literally just that. So when you think you're pushing hard, you can always push a little bit harder, going back to your point.
And that's the best way to do it, right? In the gym, you can go, I'll do 12 or do 15. Yeah. And I said to my son the other day, I went to the gym with him on Sunday, he's almost 14. And I said, if your program says do 12 and you get to 12 and you can do 15, do fucking 15.
You should do 15.
Like, why aren't you doing 15?
Yeah.
Just ticking the box going to do 12, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's the best place to teach that, in the gym.
It's the best.
And if you do it there, you can do it in life going, you know what, I'll make that extra phone call, or I'll help that client, or I'll help the guy at work, whatever, right? doing a little bit extra every day has a
Yeah.
compounding effect on your life.
Yeah, not everybody needs, like, you don't need, like, I mean, you see guys that talk about absolute failure and stuff like that. I think that's a bit more advanced for the, guys that have been there a long time. But I think you don't need to take it to that level. I think people maybe overcomplicate in that sense, but you can push yourself.
Yeah.
When you think, and you can get into your half reps as well. So you can go from that 12, and if you feel like 12, you're kind of there, but you can get 3 more half reps. You should do those 3 half reps as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least you get those pumps, and then you get that additional pump.
So regarding your TikTok, Instagram, Jace, like 80-something thousand on 86,000 on Instagram and maybe 65 or something on TikTok.
Something like that, yeah.
So what would you say to people out there looking to build their social media presence? Like, you've got massive engagement in relation to how many followers you would have. Would you agree with that? Like, someone might have 86,000 followers, but get nowhere near the likes and the comments. So it's not about sheer volume, right? So what would you say to the people out there looking to build their TikTok and Instagram accounts when they're in the rut at the moment, they're just chipping away and, this isn't working? What would you say to them?
If a video doesn't work, it doesn't work. So you need to change the thing that you're doing, right? You can't sit there and go, well, I want the world to like this thing because you want to like it. You got to make something so that, first of all, it comes down to knowing your craft. Like knowing your thing inside out so that you can deliver it, right? That's important. It needs to be entertaining because it needs to capture an audience. And it needs to add value to the audience. And it's got to be about the audience and not about yourself. I never once said ever, and I'm Jason Ballo from the JBX Buyers Agency, and I don't know, like, I was not selling shit. I was just talking about the house product. Let the house do the talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone just sees Jason Ballo, Jason Ballo, Jason Ballo. You know what I mean? But you never hear me say, I'm Jason Ballo. Like every other fucking guy is like, I'm Tom Smith. It's like, no one gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, so just make it about the craft, make it about the audience, give value to the audience, make it entertaining. If you know your thing in and out. Man, there was a guy spinning fucking pizza dough. Have you seen this guy?
Yeah, I have. How good's that?
He gets like 1.5 million views every video.
And he
every
plays
video.
music to it, doesn't he? He's got music in the back.
He plays music and he's like fucking in the zone. He's like this, flipping, and he's like music, and he's like dancing to the music. And I'm like, fuck, like, this is fucking crazy. Like, why am I watching this? Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, if you have that passion and you know your thing and you're fucking good at your craft, you can make pizza dough spinning into a fucking art form and you'll make money out of it. You know what I'm saying?
People like seeing people have a good time, right?
People love that
and
shit.
people love humble.
Yeah.
As soon as you say, I think this house is worth $5 million, it opens yourself up to so much criticism. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas if you say, this is what, they're not suggesting you think that, but the agent's guided that, it's a bit of a safer place to be in. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I was telling you, I've had some fucking celebrity trolls on my page, you know, like, but, you know, like, at the same time, you can't give a fuck about what people say. If you're going to do your thing, you just got to be like, well, people have a voice. It's cool. Like, so I put a house out there and, you know, I get people say, oh, the comments and this and that. It's like, well, people are allowed to say what they can say. And either they're saying it behind your back or they're saying it in front of your face. What would you prefer? You know what I'm saying? Like, at least you know kind of, well, okay, well, fuck, who cares? That's an irrelevant comment. But also, you know, people are going to judge. And if you're going to let that interfere with you progressing, then you're never going to crack that code. Yeah. You know, all it takes is one video to change your life like it did mine. Really, it was just that one video.
There's an old saying, right? And it goes, if everyone likes you, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? Like, I say to my kids, and I say this all the time, I've probably repeated it 100 times, but there's going to be people in life that don't like you. There's people that like you, me, but 100%. You don't not like me because I lie, cheat, or steal.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if you don't
there are
like
guys
me,
that
right?
there are people out there that think I'm annoying. That's great. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know, it's fine. Like, just don't watch my page. It's fine. It's all good.
It's like Jake from last week. He's got G'd up, right? He's got 350,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
And he answers questions on his page, right? And someone was bagging his brand. And he, you know, he's got the caption on top of him with the question. He goes, "Why are you here, bro? Like, why are you watching something you don't like?
Yeah.
Just unfollow me."
Yeah,
It's almost like
exactly
they do
that.
it deliberately on purpose
It's
to
exactly
annoy them,
that.
right?
But it's exactly that. It goes back to like what I was saying before. What I was saying before, like it's a losing play to make that kind of move.
Yeah.
So people need to understand. Young people need to understand. You got winning plays in life, losing plays, and although you can make all the winning plays and then not quite make that shot, whatever. You just got to still keep making those winning plays, you know, still turn up, be early, wake up early, go to the gym, do like all those things you got to keep doing. Eventually it'll crack. But if you start making losing plays, you start making excuses. It's a losing play. If you start trolling people's accounts in a spot that you shouldn't be at and you just want to throw hate because you want to throw hate, well, hate's a losing play, you know? All I do is give love. I was on the phone to a creator, like I hit up this creator who I was find fucking hilarious. And I was just trying to call him and he was like, "Did you call me?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to FaceTime, I want to connect," you know? It was like, and it was all love, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you want to give love the same way you receive love, you know? It's a kind of, that's the beautiful world you want to be in. You don't want to be in a world where you're dishing out hate and then hate's coming back to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you, if you're going to give hate, you're going to get hate back. You're going to get guys like that say, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And why would you want to be at the end of that? Why would you want to be told that? Just the energy there just doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Einstein says every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right?
Exactly.
So it goes in life, right?
Exactly.
So give love, get love.
See, exactly right.
Be positive, get positivity. Jason, I'm very conscious of your time. I know you're a busy man. I'd love to talk to you for another hour, but mate, thanks for joining us.
We'll definitely do this again.
Legend.
Guys,
thanks for tuning in. At the end of the day, discipline is freedom. Success doesn't come from one big move. It comes from the daily choices stacked day in and day out. And that is exactly why everything counts. Guys, thanks for tuning in. If this podcast gave you anything of value, please share it with a mate, leave a review, and join the movement on our Instagram and TikTok pages. And remember, the man you want to be tomorrow is built by the decisions you make today.
Amen.
Remember, everything counts.